Hello everyone, it's Imran here. Welcome back to another video. So, I'm going to react to something a bit different. I am going to react to another Thomas audio story, and it's another spooky one it is, but this is from this channel, excuse me, called 22 Tesla, and it's from this series that he's been running for the past 2 years now, called Tales from the Scrap Siding, and this is the third volume of Tales from the Scrap Siding he's done. So, as you all know, Tales from the Scrap Siding is a new horror series that began in 2021. It did. I'm pretty sure all of you in the Thomas fandom know Nara Gage and his Horror of the Rails series that I reacted to. I watched all of the Horror of the Rails videos, like literally long before I started doing reaction videos on this channel. I did. And after Nara Gage's Horror of the Rails end, we had a new series that took on the reins of what Nara Gage's Horror of the Rails series did, and that was 22 Tales from the Scrap Siding. I watched volumes 1 and 2. I did already long before I started making reaction videos. In fact, like volume 2, I'd already watched like a few weeks before I started doing reaction videos on this channel. I did, so it obviously felt like a no-brainer to react when he did volume 3 of this series. I'd react to it. So yeah, and he's definitely, as the last two volume 2 was definitely an improvement from volume 1. So amazed to see how much he was able to improve his from volume 1 to volume 2. But I have a feeling volume 3 we're going to see him improve even further. So the video that I'm reacting to is obviously the first story. He's actually uploaded already nearly all of his volume stories over the last few weeks. I just haven't had the time to react to them because of how long they are. So I'm going to react to the first story that premiered on October 5th, which of course is Old Stomping Grounds. And from what I can read from the description, it's going to involve something about Toby and his old tramway. So obviously Toby's old tramway in the TVS closed down. It did because they couldn't afford to keep it running. And then of course he was brought out by the Fat Controller and restored it was. So this is obviously Toby having some bad thoughts about what would have happened to it had he not been brought by the Fat Controller. So I guess a little bit of thoughts right here. Basically what it would have been like. I have no clue what's going to happen, but I do know is that I really do enjoy the Tales from the Scrap Siding series. Really is really cool. It is. So I'm really glad, to see that once Nara Gage's Horror of the Rails series ended, 22 Tales took up the reins of having a yearly horror series for every October called Tales from the Scrap Sidings. Really enjoyed the last 2 volumes I did, and I can't wait to see what volume 3 has in store for us, starting off with Old Stomping Grounds. Link to the video I'm reacting to in the description down below as always. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get straight into this. Really looking forward to this. Old Stomping Grounds.
Toby has worked on the island of Sodor for many years and knows many parts of the island very well.
Okay.
One part of the island he knows the best is Thomas's branch line, where he works with his faithful coach Henrietta. Another part of the island he knows very well was a little tramway north of the island, known as the Arlesdale Tramway.
Yep.
When he came to Sodor, Toby worked on that little tramway for years until the buses and lorries took his work and it closed down. Luckily, Sir Tom Hatt purchased him to work on Thomas's branch line after the tank engine had a run-in with a disgruntled constable. While Toby was happy to have been saved, he couldn't help but have dark thoughts about how bad it would have been had things been different.
Yep.
One evening, Sir Tom Hatt came to see Toby.
Now, recently, Oliver had rediscovered your old line while on a late-night mill run, which we have since...
This is going to be set during Series 5, I see. Because, what was I going to say? I was going to say something, I was right there, now it's gone out my head. But in episode Oliver's Fine, where Oliver rediscovered Toby's old tramway. Bit like how Project Tiger Moth went on.
Restored. We're going to have a reopening party at the end of the line,
Look at the
it wouldn't
animation
be
with the
right to
eyes
have it
moving.
without you or Henrietta. Tomorrow you will both be cleaned and polished, and we'll take some important people to the ceremony.
Yes, sir,
said Toby, trying his best not to show his nervousness. When Sir Tom Hat left, Toby's face fell.
What's wrong, Toby?
asked Thomas.
I thought you'd be happy to be revisiting your old railway again.
Toby sighed.
I wish I could be happy. But whenever I think about my old line, I can't help but have bad thoughts about what could have happened had Sir Topham had not bought me.
Don't think about what could have happened,
Thomas said reassuringly.
Be glad for what did happen. You were bought and have been working with us ever since. That's all that matters.
Toby knew Thomas was right, but he was still nervous as he went to sleep.
Poor Toby. Always that horrible feeling, isn't it?
The next day was very foggy.
Always that thought, that horrible thought, isn't it? What happened if you weren't once as lucky as you were? What if things turned out very differently? You could be really in a dark place. So I actually like the fact that you get some dark when you're extremely grateful for something that's happened, but you also get dark feelings of what could have happened had you not been rescued. And that's really a horrible thing that I think that Toby is having right now. What happened if he wasn't purchased by the Fat Controller? What would have become of him then? It's a really horrible feeling when you think about it.
And rainy as Toby and Henrietta set off down the line for the Arlesdale tramway. Toby was nervous as he puffed along. Not helping was the fact that no one else was out, not even other engines. It made him feel isolated. Toby reached Callan and made his way to a set of points, which led him into the mountainous and wild part of Sodor. The fog seemed to get thicker as Toby made his way along the first stretches of his line. As he made his way along, he could make out the shape of the first station along his line, Lower Arlesborough. He felt a bit of relief until he got closer.
There it is.
The station building had vines draping from its windows, its roof missing many tiles, vegetation growing from the platform and the road running beside it. The small pond had flooded, submerging the sleepers which squelched as Toby ran over them. Toby was horrified at the state of the station.
Why would Sir Topham had not restored this part of the line?
He wondered. His concern grew as he reached the village of Marthwaite. Many of the buildings had vegetation growing around them, with parts of some buildings collapsed. The river seemed to have risen in the time since Toby had last visited, the water uncomfortably close to the tracks.
Yeah,
Toby then began to climb through the rocky...
Clearly because that line hasn't been maintained since it was abandoned. That's obvious it's going to happen. It is the water levels are going to rise a little bit more often they are.
Rain that made up the second half of his old route. He looked around him for Castle Arl. He could have sworn he could see it collapsed, with only the base remaining, but it was hard to tell through the fog.
So that's what happens to Toby's old tramway in the TBS
that he was
when it was
crossing the
abandoned
dam
at that time.
known as the Great Wall, which was built to stop the water from flooding Marthwaite, but seemed to have many leaks through the moss-ridden stones. The dam felt like it was going to collapse as Toby crossed over it.
Why did they send me down here? My line is in ruins!
After the dam, Toby made his way around the Great Lake. He crossed a small wooden bridge. Its rotten wood creaked like it would break with Toby
so we're getting
on
some
it,
references to
but
Toby and the
luckily
flood
he made
right
it to
here.
the other side of the lake. This half of it ran under a long and tall cliff face, which Toby felt crumbling as if there was about to be a rock slide that would knock him into the lake.
Don't blame him for being nervous.
The fog was thicker than ever as Toby finally reached Arlesdale End. He could just make out the station through the fog, and felt a sense of relief that his nightmarish journey was over, but it was about to get worse. He approached the station and was horrified at the decayed state of it. vines and ivy wrapped around the building like shoelaces. The roof almost completely caved in. Moss coated the platform, which had trees and other vegetation growing out from between massive cracks and holes. But the worst was yet to come as Toby slowly passed the station and saw the shape of his old shed. He slowly approached it and came to a stop just in front of the decayed building.
Look at it.
The shed door slowly creaked open, revealing something inside.
What is
Toby
it?
couldn't see it at first, but when he did, he felt the water in his boiler go cold as ice. There, in front of him, was the decayed husk of a tram engine, one of a similar shape to him. Its wood was rotting, its cowcatchers and side plates splattered with rust, and the front of it having fallen apart, revealing a smoke-box door from within the rotting shell. Toby closed his eyes in terror.
What was that trap? Don't tell me this is going to be another version of a Mistake Behind.
Toby opened his eyes. He was back in the 3-row sheds at Tidmouth. His surroundings were clear as it was day. Not an ounce of fog.
Come on, Toby. We'd best get you cleaned up and looking your best for the reopening,
said his driver.
Oh, it was all just a nightmare?
Of course,
Toby said, shaken from his dream.
It was all just a dream.
Toby and Henrietta were soon looking their best. They picked up their important pass.
So that must have been a dream right there. It was very clear that Toby had a nightmare of what would have happened if he wasn't purchased. So that tram engine was supposed to be him right there, had he not been rescued.
And set off for the Arlesdale tramway. Toby went through Callan Station and made his way down the old line. When he reached Lower Arlesborough, he was surprised to see that the station looked even better than it did when he was working on the tramway.
There it is.
The pond beside it had been filled in, and in its place was a garden full of brightly colored flowers. Toby thought it was lovely. As Toby passed Marthwaite, several people were near the tracks. They cheered as he made his way through the village. Its buildings and houses looked well kept. From there, Toby passed the ruins of Castle Arl. The castle was worn down more than it was when he had last passed it, but seeing it again made the little tram engine feel warm inside. Toby then crossed over the Great Wall. While the stones were worn and mossy, there were no leaks. Toby was so happy about the condition of the rest of his old tramway that he couldn't be nervous about the questionable state of the dam.
Thank God that was all a dream it was. Look, the station was even better than before.
After a short time, Toby made his way to the Great Lake. As he crossed the trestle, he could see that the timbers were brand new.
They must have rebuilt this trestle,
he thought to himself.
Definitely.
Good thing too. That old thing always creaked when I went across it.
As he went around the cliffside, he looked out towards the lake.
They did a wonderful job restoring my old line,
puffed Toby to himself. He forgot all about the nightmare he had had, and was excited to see the last stop on the line. As he pulled into Arlesdale End, he could see that the station looked as good as new, just like how Toby remembered it. The station was decorated with banners and balloons.
Wow.
With a banner reading, Grand Reopening. Across and over the tracks was a banner reading, Welcome Home, Toby. Below it was a large red ribbon. Toby was so happy he felt his
Monkeys
boiler
music
would
playing
burst.
in the background?
He then looked beyond them towards his old shed. As he did, he noticed a set of points, with one track leading to his shed, and another track curving away, which Oliver was on. His very important passengers climbed out of Henrietta. Sir Tom Hatt was among them.
There's the eyes moving again.
Sir Tom Hatt made his way to a podium on one end of the station and spoke.
Many years ago, our Toby worked on this quaint little tramway with his faithful coach, Henrietta. Both served this line for many years until it closed down, and I brought them to work on Thomas's branch line. Some time ago, Oliver had accidentally rediscovered this line when he went the wrong way on a mail run. I am pleased.
It is the Spinning Monkeys music that's playing in the background. I've had it in some of Pariak's TikTok videos when she was reacting to some dark humid videos.
To announce that this happy accident was what inspired me to reopen this old line for tourists, as well as to serve the villages the line runs along once more. Arsdale End will serve as a spot for visitors to have tea and crumpets, and given our Toby has worked on this line for many years, it is only right that he be relocated to his old stomping grounds.
That's where the title comes
sir!
from,
cried Toby.
Do you mean it?
Sir Tom Hat chuckled.
I wouldn't have it any other way.
Yep.
I declare the Arsdale Tramway reopened.
Well done, Toby.
Toby, puff forward and cut the ribbon. Then make your way to your shed. There's a surprise waiting for you there.
Toby puffed forward and snapped the red ribbon. Everyone cheered as he did so and made his way towards the shed. Toby stopped just outside of it, and when he looked inside, he felt an overwhelming sense of joy.
What is it?
Inside were various photographs of the tramway, along with plaques detailing the history of it.
Whoa!
When you're busy during the day, your old shed will be used as a small museum for people wanting to know the history of your old line. And as for the new addition,
he said, referring to the points in the new line Oliver was on.
I have extended the line to loop around and connect to Thomas's branch line, so you can get there quickly if need be.
Yeah, just like in Toby Had a Little Lamb.
The festivities carried on for the rest of the day until the evening, before Oliver left to return to the Little Western. Toby spoke to him.
Thank you for finding my old line.
Oh, that's alright,
replied Oliver.
Though I don't think I'll make it a habit of getting lost and rediscovering old things.
The two engines laughed and Oliver set off for home. Toby looked towards Arsdale End Station and gave a blissful sigh and smile as he drifted off to sleep.
Just love that animation.
Toby now works on his tramway to serve the villages along it, as well as taking visitors to see his sights along this route and to Arsdale End. Toby no longer has bad thoughts about his tramway or what could have happened had he not been bought. And while he does miss Thomas's branch line, and is happy whenever he gets a chance to return to it when needed, he is also very glad to once again work along the tramway he loves, and would have many more adventures on over the years.
So that's a pretty good explanation.
Toby is glad to be back on his old stomping grounds.
Yep. Old stomping grounds.
He wouldn't give them up for anything.
Don't know why I did that. Well, wait, that's it? Oh, right, it's 480p. Makes sense right there, but... Wow. That was probably a very light-hearted Tales from the Scrap Siding video right there. That scene, though, was absolutely terrifying. That tram engine right there you're seeing right now, was basically what would have happened if Toby had not been brought by the Fat Controller. I thought this was Toby learning the shocking truth that maybe that tram engine was him and he was transferred over into a different tram engine. Bit like how, a part of me stayed behind was like, I'll have that reaction in the top right corner of your screen so you know what I'm talking about. But no, that turned out to be, or I also thought it could have been another tram engine that could have worked secretly with Toby on his tramway that Toby didn't know about. Or maybe it was, maybe it was just, it was Toby, basically what would have happened to him if he hadn't been purchased by the Fat Controller. And, well, that other hunch turned out to be correct. Wow. Tales from the Scrap Siding 3 has got off to a great start, it has. And I'm so surprised that we're getting animation segments right here from Tales from the Scrap Siding after the screens were mainly black throughout mainly through volumes 1 and 2. 22 Tales' animation really has done so well right here. I mean, I can't wait to react to the other ones right here. I mean, this definitely series feels like a continuation of Narrogage's Horrors of the Rails after that series ended. This one feels like a direct continuation of that series. Even though it's different, it feels similar to it. Oh, but that must, like I said, it's a horrible feeling when you get lucky, but when you are a person who got lucky to have a second chance at life, and then you get those horrible feelings of what it could have been like had you not been as lucky as you were. It is a horrible feeling. It is 100% a horrible feeling. It is, but oh my god, that was that was unexpected. That scene with the tram engine right there was unexpected right there. But at least at least Toby got this one ended with a happy ending right here. I mean, like how it was set during Series 5. I think if this was a Series 5 episode, it probably would have been a little bit too dark. It would have to include an old scary tram engine like that would have terrified the kids. It would have, but nevertheless, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the story nonetheless. 22 tells a comic to react to the other stories in Volume 3 of Tales from the Scrap siding. And yeah, that's basically what I got to say. Enjoyed the animation as always. Hopefully we get more of that. You do want to check out my previous Thomas reactions whenever it's audio stories like this or Train's adaptation. I'll have a playlist up in the top right corner of your screen. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, hit that like button for me. Let me know in the comments down below what you thought of this Tales from the Scrap signing video I reacted to. Also let me know in the comments down below what other videos you want me to react to next. Follow me on Instagram, and links to that be in the description down below. Share this video, subscribe if you're new here, ring that bell to get notified when I upload new videos or when I post in the community tab. Make sure you subscribe to 22 Telsa for more videos like this. His channel is the home of Tales from the Scrap siding. I'll have a link to his channel in the description down below. And I'll see you all in the next one. Bye!